Ava Reynolds believed in two things, love and loyalty. And she gave both without limits. At 26, Ava had built a life many envied. She worked as a creative director in a fast-growing agency in Chicago. Her ideas were bold, her vision unmatched, and her future bright. But what made her happiest wasn't her career. It was Ethan Cole. He wasn't just her boyfriend. He was her world. Tall, confident, with a voice that could calm storms, Ethan had a way of making Ava feel safe. Like no matter what happened, she would never fall. And for 2 years, that's exactly how it felt. Until the small cracks began. Late-night meetings. Hidden messages. Ava's phone always turned face down. Ava noticed. But she ignored it. Because love, sometimes makes you blind. It was raining that night. The kind of rain that makes everything feel heavier, slower, darker. Ava had planned a surprise. Ethan loved surprises. She picked up his favorite food, wore the dress he once said made her look unforgettable, and drove straight to his apartment. She had a key. She didn't knock. That was her first mistake. As she stepped inside, she heard laughter. Soft. Intimate. Not meant for her. Her heart skipped. Then raced. Then, almost stopped. She walked forward slowly. Each step heavier than the last. And then, she saw them. Ethan. And someone else. Not a stranger. Not just anyone. It was Sophia. Her colleague. Her friend. The girl who always hugged her a little too tightly. Pause. Ava felt something inside her break. Not loudly. Not dramatically. Just, quietly. Like a glass shattering underwater. Ethan turned. His face drained of color. Ava. I can explain. But she didn't let him finish. She didn't scream. Didn't cry. Didn't ask questions. She simply smiled. And said, I know. The next day, Ava went to work. On time. Perfectly dressed. Calm. As if nothing had happened. Sophia was already there. Nervous. Restless. Avoiding eye contact. Ethan kept calling. Texting. Begging. But she didn't respond. Because something had changed. Not outside. But inside her. The girl who loved too deeply, was gone. And in her place, was someone colder. Sharper. Stronger. Slow tone. Ava wasn't planning to forgive. She wasn't planning to forget. She was planning something else. Something they would never see coming. Ava didn't confront them. She didn't expose them. She didn't even mention that night again. Instead, she smiled. At work, she greeted Sophia like nothing had changed. Morning, Ava said softly, placing her coffee on the desk. Sophia looked confused. Morning. There was guilt in her eyes. Fear too. But she looked completely fine. And that's what scared Sophia the most. Ethan kept trying. Calls. Messages. Apologies. I made a mistake. It didn't mean anything. Please talk to me. Ava read every message. And ignored every single one. Because for the first time, she wasn't reacting. She was observing. Learning. Planning. Ava knew something important. If you want real revenge, you don't act in anger. You act in silence. Over the next few weeks, Ava started paying attention. Not emotionally, but strategically. She noticed everything. Ethan's routines. His meetings. His weaknesses. And Sophia, she was even easier to read. Sophia wasn't strong. She was insecure. Always needing attention, validation, approval. And Ethan, he fed that weakness. That's how he trapped her. The same way he once trapped Ava. Pause. But this time, Ava was not the victim. One afternoon, Ava walked into a meeting room where Ethan was presenting his new business idea. She hadn't planned to attend. But now, she had a reason. Ethan froze when he saw her. Ava, you're here. She smiled slightly. Why am I not allowed? The room went silent. But Ava didn't care. She sat down. Listened carefully. And what she heard changed everything. Ethan was pitching a startup. A digital branding company. Using ideas that sounded very familiar. Too familiar. Because they were hers. Every strategy. Every concept. Every vision. Stolen. From her. For a second, just 1 second, anger burned inside her. But she controlled it. Because now she understood. This wasn't just betrayal. This was theft. And that made things even more interesting. After the meeting, Ava walked up to Ethan. Nice presentation, she said calmly. Ethan looked relieved. Thank you. But be careful, Ava interrupted softly. His smile faded. Big dreams can fall very hard. She walked away. Leaving him confused. Uneasy. Afraid. That night, Ava sat alone in her apartment. City lights glowing through the window. Her mind was clear. Focused. Dangerous. She opened her laptop and started working. Not on her job. But on him. If Ethan wanted to steal her ideas, fine. She would let him. If he wanted success, she would help him get it. But only for one reason. So she could take it all away. At the perfect moment, Ava started contacting people. Big people. Investors. Executives. Influencers. People who trusted her. People who respected her talent. And slowly, she began building something invisible. A network. A trap. Weeks turned into months. Ethan's startup began to grow. Faster than he expected. Bigger than he imagined. And all thanks to Ava. Though he didn't know it. Investors showed interest. Meetings got approved. Doors opened easily. Too easily. Even Sophia noticed. This feels unreal, she told Ethan one evening. Ethan smirked. That's because I'm built for this. Pause. But deep down, he knew something felt off. Because success like this doesn't come without a price. Meanwhile, Ava watched everything. Every deal. Every move. Every step closer to the edge. And she smiled. Because the higher they climbed, the harder they would fall. Success had changed Ethan. Or maybe, it just revealed who he truly was. Late nights became normal again. But this time, it wasn't secrets, it was arrogance. He stopped listening. Stopped caring. Even Sophia began to feel it. You've changed, she said one night. Ethan laughed, no. I've upgraded. Those words stayed with her. Because deep down, she knew the truth. She had helped destroy something real, for something fake. Meanwhile, Ava was watching everything unfold. And for the first time since that night, she felt something unexpected. Not pain. Not anger. But control. It finally happened. The opportunity Ethan had been waiting for. A massive investment deal. Millions on the table. A chance to take his company global. The meeting was set in a luxury office downtown. Investors from powerful firms. Lawyers. Advisors. Executives. Everything felt perfect. Too perfect. Ethan walked in confidently. Sophia beside him. Nervous, but excited. And then, Ava walked in. Ethan froze. What are you doing here? Ava looked calm. Untouchable. I'm part of the deal. Silence filled the room. Sophia's face turned pale. What? Ava sat down. Crossed her legs. And smiled. Let's begin. Documents were placed on the table. Contracts ready to be signed. Numbers that could change lives. Ethan schemed through them quickly. Too quickly. Because all he saw was success. He signed. Without hesitation. Without doubt. Without understanding. Ava watched him carefully. Every move. Every signature. Every mistake. Then she leaned forward slightly. Congratulations, she said softly. Ethan smiled. We did it. Ava's eyes locked onto his. No. I did. Confusion. Tension. Fear. Read page 27, Ava said calmly. Ethan frowned, but flipped the pages. His expression slowly changed. Confidence, to confusion, to shock. What is this? His voice cracked. Ava didn't blink. Ownership structure. Sophia grabbed the papers. Her hands shaking. No, no, this can't be. But it was. Ava owned 70% of the company. Control. Power. Everything. This is a joke, right? Ethan said, his voice rising. No, Ava replied calmly. This is strategy. You tricked me. He shouted. Ava tilted her head slightly. Interesting word, coming from you. Pause. The room was silent. Heavy. Crushing. Investors began standing up. One by one. We're pulling out, one of them said. Ethan panicked. Wait, what? You can't. But they were already leaving. Because this deal was never meant to succeed. It was meant to collapse. Within minutes, everything Ethan built started falling apart. Funding gone. Support vanished. Reputation damaged. Sophia looked at Ava with tears in her eyes. Why are you doing this? Ava stood up slowly. Walked closer. And said quietly, you should have asked that, the night you betrayed me. The room was almost empty now. The silence felt heavier than any words. Ethan stood frozen, his world collapsing in real time. This can't be happening, he whispered. Ava stepped closer. Calm. Controlled. Powerful. Oh, it is, she said. Sophia broke down first. Tears streaming, voice shaking. Ava, please, we made a mistake. Ava looked at her. Not with anger. But with something colder. Disappointment. A mistake, Ava repeated softly. You didn't trip and fall into betrayal, Sophia. You chose it. Pause. Sophia couldn't look at her anymore. Then Ava turned to Ethan. The man she once loved. The man she once trusted with everything. You didn't just cheat, she said. You stole my ideas, my trust, my time. Ethan stepped forward desperately. I can fix this, please, Ava, just give me one chance. Ava smiled. But this time, it wasn't kind. You already had 100 chances. Within days, everything was gone. Ethan's company collapsed completely. News spread fast. Investors blacklisted him. Partners walked away. Friends disappeared. His phone stopped ringing. Not because he was busy, but because no one cared anymore. Sophia faced her own downfall. At work, people found out. Whispers turned into judgment. Respect turned into distance. Eventually, she had no choice but to leave. They had each other. But even that didn't last. Because relationships built on betrayal don't survive reality. The city looked the same. But Ava, she was completely different. She didn't just recover. She evolved. Stronger mindset. Sharper instincts. Unbreakable confidence. Her new company thriving. Successful. Powerful. And this time, everything was hers. No sharing. No trusting blindly. No weakness. One evening, Ava stood by her office window. Looking at the city lights. The same city where she once broke and rebuilt herself. Her assistant walked in. You have a meeting with new investors tomorrow. Ava nodded. Set it up. Confident. Focused. Untouchable. One afternoon, Ava saw Ethan again. Not in a luxury office. Not in a meeting room. But in a small cafe. Alone. Broken. He looked up, and recognized her instantly. Ava. His voice was weak. Uncertain. She walked over. Calm as ever. Sat down across from him. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Then Ethan said quietly, I lost everything. Ava looked at him. And replied, no. Pause. You threw everything away. He swallowed hard. I miss you. Ava stood up. And for the first time, her voice carried quiet power. You don't miss me. You miss who I was, before you destroyed her. And with that, she walked away. For the last time. Revenge isn't always loud. It's not always destruction. It's not always chaos. Sometimes, revenge is silence. Growth. Power. Ava didn't just take everything from them. She became someone they could never reach again. Because in the end, the greatest revenge is not hurting them back. It's becoming so strong that they no longer matter. Fire the end.